out. It makes its way to it. And one thing I hope you'll notice is, unlike normal artificial intelligence, where the goal of the algorithm is to be as efficient as possible, it's not making a beeline to the blue thing. It looks around, it hesitates, and you'll see in a second it also will make mistakes from time to time. The next thing you can do is, these red ones here are obstacles. It prefers not to run into them. It will at times. It may even push them if it doesn't really have a choice. But so it'll find a way to go around the red to get to the blue. So I mentioned before in the original product that users act as the hand of God. And hopefully that's not an offensive phrase, but the idea is that you are kind of this all-powerful creature that gets to, or person that gets to shape the world of the robot. You can see that's retained, and that's a big part of the play pattern. I should also say this is meant for kids 6 to 11 years old, but many of us have kids in us and buy all sorts of technological toys. So I can slowly make it harder and harder. And in the robot, so you'll see it actually nudged it a little bit there, and then kind of made its way around it. But you can make more and more complicated mazes and so on, and test what the robot can do and what the robot can't do. It was really fascinating to see kids in our play testing. And they did a lot of things I expected them to. None of them did this, which is a little bit cruel. You surround it. I'm sad to realize that I have a more sadistic imagination than they do. So you can surround it, and right now it looks a little anxious when it gets surrounded. So we might change that a little bit, make it look a little more comfortable when you give it a home, rather than kind of scared in a cage. What's that? Yeah. So and then the last thing I'll say, one of the things the kids did, which I really didn't expect, is they found ways to stack these, which are not very stackable. And then they'd put the blue on the top, trying to get the robot to knock the tower over. That's one of the great things, when people find something that you really didn't expect. So the real way I expect people to play with it, like holding it some, but what I'm really expecting is that they'll prop it up on the edge of a table. So you do this, and then underneath you can kind of just ignore the phone. So you just play down here. And one of the things I like about this is that it's augmented reality, but the phone screen is a reference point, not a focal point. Just a second. And so we're hoping that kids will focus on the physical world, which will facilitate group play. We found in limited play testing, we found that groups of kids tended to play longer than a single kid. And they seem to play pretty well together. They're siblings, which maybe that means even more that they played well together with this, being siblings and all. Do you have a question?